You're listening to a Time Machine podcast. Old Movie Time Machine. An adventure through time and or space. Hello everybody and welcome back to Old Movie Time Machine. I'm going to try to say it differently every time this week. That's right, you are back. It's day 3 of premiere week. Very exciting. We are, of course, exhausted. We've been talking for hours every day, back to back to back to back to back, but we're happy that you're here. It's premiere week. It's a big time. We're launching the show. We're giving you the good stuff. We did give you pillow talk yesterday. I admit it. I know. I know how it is. And I'm sorry. I'm going to try to make it up to you today. Maybe. We'll find out. But of course, you're wondering, my goodness, this show is brand new. What is it all about? And I will tell you right now, on this show, we are using color films made in the US of A between the years of 1945 to 1965 as windows into the past. We climb through these windows and we have ourselves a little poke around. And we take a look at the world as it was during this pivotal time following the Second World War. We're going to ask some questions while we go on this adventure. Questions like, who are these people? What are their habits? How are they treating one another? What decisions are they making and why? Also, what are they wearing and what do their living rooms look like? And at the end of the show, we're going to ask the vital question on behalf of all humanity, including you, dear listener. Do we keep watching this? Is this a thing we're going to pass on to the next generation, say? Or do we just kind of, just sort of ignore it, just put it back on the shelf? Fuck it. We'll find out. We're going to find out. I'm Justin Zeppa. I'll be your host through time and or space this evening. And I'm joined as ever by my brilliant panel of international experts in being human. To my left, the incomparable Katherine Sherlock. Hi, Katherine.
Hello.
Welcome back, day 3. I know you're pumped, right?
Absolutely.
So psyched. Next to you, the incomprehensible Shrishma Naik.
Hello.
Hi, Shrishma. Shrishma's
been try.
Yeah, okay. So Shrishma, we should say, has been watching some Downton Abbey for the first time recently.
Right.
And now everything is coming out as Maggie Smith, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
that's who I'm envisioning myself to be. Now try and do the episode this week.
We're glad both of you are here.
Thank you.
The Countess Dowager, of course,
right.
will not have seen a motion picture of such tremendous color and special effects as will be discussed today. But before we get there, let's bring her in, my sis and yours, Carolyn Naoroz. Hi, Carolyn.
Hi.
Welcome back to Old Movie Time Machine. Again, a little slightly different read. We're going to do... Off mic, we're going to vote and figure out which one we should stick with, maybe. Today, we are talking about 1953's The War of the Worlds. Wow. Woo. Let's just do a snap judgment right now. Quick, go around the table. Katherine Sherlock, give me your one-line review of George Pal's, he's a buddy, The War of the Worlds.
Right, okay. So, my review would be, science will save us. In a kind of a cardigan wearing with like elbow patches, pipe smoking, relaxed kind of way. Yes.
Some would say borderline sedate. Very close to a nap, Dr. Clayton Forrester is. Mm-hmm. Is that the end of the sentence, though?
Yes.
Because, okay.
Because
there's the last 5 minutes of this movie. I guess we'll get there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, obviously the assumption was.
Yeah.
And then other things.
This is what happens when you turn your back on the big man, right? And half the audience switches off. That's fine. Shrishma Naik, give me your one-line review.
I don't have a one-line review.
Okay.
Please, can you insert that woman's scream?
Yeah, hysterical.
Oh, the hysterical scream, the meltdown.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of meltdown. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put that down right here. And There she is. There she is.
That's my review.
Great. Okay. That could go many different ways. It's open to interpretation.
Yes.
Carolyn, what do you got for us? What do you think?
Time capsule.
Okay.
That's really, I feel like you opened the can on this movie and you're stepping back into a very defined time in American history.
Can I give you a punch up on that?
Sure.
Time cylinder.
Oh, hello. I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
And mine, well, I've got a couple going here, but if we're going to do audio, well, okay. So first I'm thinking like the power of the U.S. military on display with a bunch of aliens. Another option is also, is this my favorite movie? The third option, since we're doing audio clips, will be the initial fireball explosion and the man in the crowd going, "Is that a fireball or something?" And I'm gonna stick with that. We're gonna put him right here.
Is that a fireball or something?
Yeah, there he is. Is that a fireball or something? We open in space with a great narration talking about what is happening out in space. And I really appreciate the report from this guy because he's telling us.
Very thorough.
Yes, absolutely. He's taking us out to Mars and he's telling us about how Mars is really gone to pot. Things are really falling apart. And the Martians who live there need to go find a new place to live. Yeah. I mean, this is tale as old as time. This is what Mars looks like here. We have it really does look like a sort of
there is a cityscape
polar wasteland, but there is a city out there. We don't get too much of this, but these are some very nice shots.
It looks like the LA basin.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's cool. They just added some water.
Yeah,
the Santa Monica Mountains in the background.
Wait, are they filming MASH over there? Oh, no, it's War of the Worlds. I'm sorry, it's Mars. So then we kind of go through the solar system of like, well, if we were Martians, where would we go? And Pluto, nice shout out to Pluto, no longer a planet. Rest in power, Pluto.
But they did say Uranus.
Classic. They can't stay there for obvious reasons. They can't stay on Pluto. It's too far out. It's too chilly. We do get glimpses. They like Saturn because it's beautiful with its space dust and its rings and everything. I mean, we all like. Who doesn't want to go to Saturn, right? But it's also it's too chilly, I believe, was the problem. I mean,
possibly. I can't remember.
It's a real Goldilocks thing that these definitely. Martians are out for. But then we get a glimpse of Earth, which is looking. I was really impressed with this because it looks very Earth-like. And again, we're not out there.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't had that view back yet.
Yeah, we haven't had the Earthrise picture from the moon or anything, or any satellite photography.
Yeah, but haven't we had globes? We
have globes. We do know that the world is round. Right. We have figured out cartography. But
the way the light is on this is really quite amazing.
Yeah, we get clouds and atmosphere. I mean, it's pretty legit. It's not bad. But this entire time, while we're here gushing over Earth, a bunch of Earth whores over here, we are being watched and scrutinized. Right. So on Earth, we cut to some kind of meteor crashing, entering the atmosphere and crashing into a small town, at which point we get the classic line. Is
that a fireball or something?
From this guy right here. And this is, we do get some shots of, it's a real slice of 1950s life here. Let's do a little hat count. It looks like the hat ratio is leaning. Well, we've got some children in this particular shot that we're looking at here, but we've got 1, 2,
60%.
3, 4, 5. At least 5 full fedora style hats. We are introduced to our main female lead, Sylvia, and her uncle, the priest.
Is she a famous actress?
I don't know.
Her name is Anne Robinson, and in case you didn't know, she is an accomplished equestrian and stunt rider.
Oh,
had no idea. This is great. This is what we keep you around for, sis. You're bringing gold today,
wherever present.
I believe she is wearing a wig in this movie. I think I read that somewhere.
Really?
On the internet.
Because I don't know how you actually achieve that fringe.
Because she's got it's pulled back. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it's this part.
I think this was just hair of this era, which is very, in my mind, World War II, 1940s, but we're talking 1953, like styles. We have not moved near mid-century modern yet.
Yes, in 1953, it's true. I mean, this is a real bridge time between, Second World War. I mean, she could be easily singing with the Andrews sisters about the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. You know, like this is very easy. And same with all these dudes. All these guys could be out reading, the late edition about how the bombing of Monte Cassino is going over in Europe.
I love this goober next to her on the other side with that kind of pork pie hat, though.
The guy with the popcorn? Oh, no, this guy.
That guy. He just looks so like, well, what's that?
He's got, and this was a style for hat-wearing gentlemen where you flip up the front. I guess it's kind of back in fashion these days, but you do look like a real goober. Well stated. But anyway, is that a fireball or something? And there it is, crashing into the hills outside of this small town in New Jersey.
No, Southern California.
California, yes.
Remember, she teaches library science at the University of Southern California. Yeah. So this could be like Pasadena.
That's right. She got her master's degree, as we later find out.
But she'll tell us she doesn't know anything. But she seems to know everything.
Does she say that?
She does.
Oh, okay.
She's hitting on Dr. What's-his butt.
Dr. Clayton Forrester, of course.
Very sleepy Dr. Clayton Forrester.
This, of course, has been reported very casually by some forest rangers who are out in their watchtower. And there's a taller, handsome guy, and then there's a sort of rotund, funny guy. And
oh my God, do you have a picture of the campsite?
Absolutely.
Because 1950s camping looks amazing.
Oh, it's everything to me. It's all I want. So everyone's trying to eliminate these flames. And this he's doing a good job. He is putting out the fire. He was reporting said fire. The guy he's talking to on the other end of his radio, though, is busy making a lot of assumptions. Apparently, like, word spread like, forgive me, wildfire, that there are some scientists in town on a fishing trip.
Exactly.
And he makes the outrageous assumption, this guy, of, they probably saw it. Yeah, I'll give them a buzz. You know, but like it's a very, I think there's some scientists fishing and maybe we want to talk to them.
Were scientists really this popular, though? Like name brand, like everyone has heard of you? Because I feel like no one is reading any research that's published in any... That's published in any academic
these days,
journal.
Of course not.
Maybe it was just big news that,
it was like
I think at the time there is. I think
brains were.
Yeah, there's a real
on a fishing trip.
Like a cult of personality around some of these scientists. You've got Niels Bohr with his work with the atom. You've got Robert Oppenheimer. You've got Einstein.
For the first time.
I think that's the thing. Yeah. It's probably that period in time when something was kind of being understood better. Something new was discovered.
Like big things.
Old rules were being like thrown away. New rules were being written.
Yes,
they didn't have protection for human subjects when doing research because glory times.
Yay!
Right.
Pre-legislation that protected human beings from adverse reactions to research.
Let's talk about cozy camping scenes, everybody. Now, this really sums it up. For me, this taps into some deep American cultural memory of like, this is what 1950s America was about. If you want to look at the good things and ignore the inequalities and the racism and the, ladies can't do good things and all that stuff that is very present at this time. We must not ignore it. We must highlight it so we can learn from it, right? But if we want to talk about good things, we see this beautiful tent. I mean, this is not an average like pole-style tent that we would see today. They had to drive stakes into the ground, like massive, large support systems. We got a nice big canvas thing. We've got proper, looks like cots in there, perhaps. They're wearing their flannel shirts. Life is grand. We're smoking cigs out here. And then the rotund park ranger rolls up in his Woody. It's what this kind of car was called. It was made of wood.
Okay.
Everybody is so casual about this earth-shattering event.
So Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Okay,
it's chill about it. Oh, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, it's a meteor.
I don't know. You'd think you'd be a little excited about it. These guys don't budge.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very relaxed attitude to investigation.
Yes.
But are we discovering new things every day? Because
this is not splitting the atom.
This is true. It's just like, oh, really? A meteor? Oh, goodness. We had 3 last week,
Meanwhile, Dr. Clayton Forster arrives on the scene in the dirtiest car the world has ever seen, and he runs right into Sylvia.
Mm-hmm.
And again, now he's on site. We see it's a meteor, but it is a big, peculiarly shaped object that is molten and on fire.
Mm-hmm.
His reaction is mostly nothing. He's just sort of like, oh, there it is.
Can we also mention that he went camping in this particular vehicle that is a convertible and
yes.
I'm sure does not have 4-wheel drive?
It appears to be a banana yellow convertible.
There's a lot of mud up it. I can
yes.
see. Right. Had some trouble.
Right.
He's been off-roading.
I'm just saying, he went off-roading in like a land yacht.
Yeah. So he arrives and he meets Sylvia, who is a library scientist, as we find out. She is rifling through her purse looking for a lighter to light her cigarette for about 5 minutes, it feels like. She's just in this very tiny purse looking for fire.
It is a Mary Poppins bag, and it might have several chambers inside of it.
That's true. She might be, pushing aside coat racks and large mirrors and things like this. It's hard to say. I will say, hey, Sylvia, there is a very large fireball right in front of you. Maybe you can light it on there. I mean... That would also be a very 1950s America thing to do. Hey, look at this. Fireball lands. Let's light up some smokes on this guy, right? Meanwhile, she is very impressed with Clayton's fishing skills.
What is she doing?
I think she's impressed with all of Clayton's skills.
They're all there, though.
She wrote a master's thesis on him.
Yeah.
She's very busy running. But she has to be like, but I don't know anything. But I know all about you.
Oh, right. Exactly.
Right.
I kind of felt like this was a real hard kind of come on moment. And it felt like the film had only been on for like a minute. And then, it was, there was a being hit on kind of moment.
Let's talk about Forster for a minute, because this is a very, I find him to be very low charisma. He kind of shows up. He's not impressed with anything, let alone himself. She's gushing about him. He's like, oh, I think he's kind of a dick personally, or not so many words, but he's just very, very blah about everything. I can't get his deal. I have a note here that says, as she's rifling through her bag looking to light her cigarette, he is simply matchless and grunting. And, this is his
zero
personality.
Charisma.
Yeah.
Is he a famous actor? Should we know him for more than this movie?
I don't know what else he's been in.
I don't know him from anything else. He's probably around. Okay. I don't know. Carolyn, you got anything on this guy?
No, because he's not a horse girl, so I don't care.
Okay. Great point. Well, that's something that we do know. He is not a horse girl. The local sheriff, who is also around, but is not really managing the scene of the crash, really.
No one's really managing the scene.
He ends up poking around in Forrester's back seat, and this is where we see a shot. He's like, hey, fella, what do you got back here? It's got lights and making noise, and it's a Geiger counter. But I did want to point out that in the back seat of Dr. Clayton Forrester's car
is that a sandwich?
Is everything that I like about everything. We've got some kind of corduroy jacket.
Nice.
Geiger counter. Check.
Yeah.
We've got a wicker fishing basket, right?
Nice.
Very nice. That's leather.
Lined.
Real leather, yeah. It's buckled. We've got some fish.
That does look like trout.
Yeah,
and,
I would say river trout.
Fish.
Yeah.
That's gonna fry up real good.
That would be amazing.
And so Forrester's like, it's a Geiger counter. He's putting nothing into it. And the sheriff, of course, immediately takes it from his hands without asking, just takes it, rips it out of his hands and starts Geiger counting all over the place. And
he knows how to use it, right?
This guy knows nothing.
Yeah, because local law enforcement definitely knows how to use a Geiger counter.
This guy should be chasing the Duke boys. You know what I mean? Not counting atomic half-lives or whatever.
Dr. Forrester is just yet again hands on hips, like, yeah, there you have at it.
Well, I guess take my Geiger counter. It's just my Geiger counter. I'm the one who knows how to use it. Anyway, they discover that the meteor is radioactive. Go figure.
Well, all the good things are really, aren't they?
Aren't they, though?
Time.
They can make a lot of money off of that radioactivity, you guys. So the sheriff, of course, helpfully notes, it's going crazy because it's really counting all the Geigers. And then they just decide maybe we should keep people away from this thing. And the entire town, which is at this point been gathered around for at least several minutes, if not hours, is like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it got light by, while they were there.
It's daytime now. Yes. They've been at it all night. At this point, everybody makes the very crucial decision to go square dancing. It is baffling. It's a baffling decision.
I feel like
I love this party scene. I thought it was so great.
Jumps from situation to situation.
Random.
Yes.
Yeah, it is entirely random. It's basically to get everybody away from the site so the three knuckleheads can get roasted shortly. So we've got a meteor crash. This is interesting. It's real weird. Everything about it is really weird. But you know what? That's square dance. It's not going to square dance itself. We got to go do this, people.
Is that the American answer to the English cup of tea?
Yes.
Yeah.
Square dancing.
I'm going to say yes. I think so. So we clear out the site, right? Everybody's going square. You know what? Let's call it a day. We got to get ready for the square dance. Gosh darn it. We're going to leave the three knuckleheads. They're local. They're townies. They're going to babysit the meteor. I don't know what their
just in case
mandate
something else catches fire, maybe.
Just keep an eye on this thing. We got to go. So they enjoy their campfire for a little while. They're hanging out just next to this thing, which is still smoking. Then they go back over to check on the meteor. It's still there, simmering away. And then they decide immediately that everything's fine and they can just go home. Again, as I talk about this movie, maybe there are some flaws. I thought maybe this was my favorite movie, but I think maybe there are some... Well, I really like that campsite, Shrishma. I mean, I want to go camping.
I can't accept that.
I want to fish for trout.
I'm not a camp person, but I definitely would like to go spend a night at that campsite. It is the definition probably of like glamping.
Right.
So as they're about to depart, as they've, with their expertise, decided, things are fine, they're doing a load of speculation, but the ship starts to unscrew itself.
Yes.
Now this is
for 5 minutes.
Yes, it takes its time.
But this actually in the book and the play, this is a real tension builder.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why there was a lot of focus on the film.
And I find this to be very tension building. I think it's very effective, this scene. I don't know if you would agree with that, but I really like the Foley. I like the sound of the unscrewing was really well done. And it's also kind of weird to see, a thing moving that way and you don't know why it's doing it. I mean,
well, this is it. I mean, this can't, surely, they've had maybe mild doubts that this is a natural phenomenon.
Right.
But at this point, it couldn't possibly be a natural phenomenon.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is quite unnatural. While this is happening, though, we cut back to check up on Forrester and his, see how he's applying his scientific acumen. And here he is. Just square dancing his life away.
And having a drink.
They're drinking sodas at this fucking square dance. Have a beer.
I know, but 1953 is not as cool as 1959, obviously, because by 1959, they're getting drunk.
Oh, yeah, they're drinking.
Drunk characters.
Yeah, exactly. They're having
we got a drunk maid and pillow talk.
Of their heads.
They're drinking Gibsons on the 20th Century Limited and fucking in their sleeper car.
So sorry to.
So something happens between 1953 and 1959 where like the country grows up and sex.
It put on its big trousers.
Gets a whole lot of money
right.
There. But meanwhile, this thing is still unscrewing itself. And what should emerge but some eerie lights and some smoke.
Green, obviously.
Gotta be green. And also a sort of coppery eyeball on a tentacle robot alien thing.
This is actually a little cobra-like, a little snaky kind of...
It's got a hood of sorts.
Kind of some hissing noises associated with it.
And it emerges very slowly in a way that I kind of felt like it was a bit cat-like, maybe it's 'cause we see a lot of cats in this neighborhood, but just very curious, but also judgmental.
Oh, yes.
Comes out, the three knuckleheads, they are a sort of gobsmacked, as one would be. And to their credit, I will say, these guys, they're not making great decisions. They're really fixated on monetizing the odd meteor crash. But their first instinct is to say, well, let's say hi. Let us welcome this out-of-towner to the beautiful US of A. The know-it-all at one point makes some comment about how Mars is closer to Earth every 18 to 20 years. Where did he read that? I mean, are you making stuff up? What is this? And then the other guy makes the point of, about like everything human doesn't need to look like you and me. Doesn't it though? I mean, human's a human, right?
Absolutely.
This is a robot cobra. This is a cobrat. It's close. We'll work on it. We'll workshop it. Anyway, so they decide to let's make some context. So he's got an old white bag in his truck, and he goes and he puts it on a stick and he waves the white flag.
Yeah, because like everything in the universe is going to understand the context of
it's the universal
flag
language of a white flag.
And that was the assumption they made. That everybody understands this, right?
It's pirate code. It's parlay. This is easy. Everybody knows this, right?
Right. I know parlay.
Well, that pirate talk.
Yes. They must be taken to the captain of the ship.
Right.
We know this. Right. So these guys, I mean, they're very good-natured and they're very welcoming. And they shout things like, we're friends and hello and open up, which is like...
Really don't open up.
Did they mean...
Close up and go away.
Well, did they mean the meteor or did they mean like, tell us your feelings, open up?
Yes. But I feel like the scene of welcoming aliens is pretty common even in like recent movies. Like,
sure,
there's always like they try to welcome the aliens. When that fails,
this is true.
The aliens, the aliens attack first.
Independence Day isn't one of the friends. She goes to the roof of the building and she's like,
they're all celebrating.
Yeah. And then the whole thing opens up. The laser
just destroys them. As happens here. I mean, these guys, they get roasted, and it is so funny. I mean, I can't.
Pile of ash.
It's just this.
They are vaporized.
Yeah, turned to but dust, And I really enjoy, and this is a consistent thing that I really enjoy about these Martians in this movie. This is a check in the pro column for me. Is the fact that they are relentless. They don't give a shit about any of this. They kind of let you.
Home.
Well, exactly, and they're just like, yeah, what's going on? You know what?
You're making too much noise. Just get out of my face. Where's the laser button?
I didn't notice this before. Oh my God. It's their outlines of their vaporized bodies on the ground. Sorry. Just seeing that.
We see the ashes of our intrepid trio of townies, and we sort of take that in horror. And then the sheriff and Forrester look up, and there is the alien Cobra, of course. I don't know how they missed it. It was right there, but they look up and see it. Some deputy or whoever just books it away without the others, jumps in the police car, tears away, leaving Forrester and the sheriff behind. Of course, the Martian eyeball Cobra thing blows up the truck.
Yes.
And so they are now just kind of stuck out there.
Yeah. It all starts getting hairy.
Yes. And at this point, Forrester suggests perhaps the military should be involved. Hello again. Sorry about this. Sorry to break up the flow here. I respect a good flow, especially when the show flows as it flows before us. I don't know what I'm talking about. I did need to tell you guys about our incredible merchandise, though. I mean, the luxury, the quality, the exclusivity of it all. I mean, you can't have it unless you're listening to this and you get directed to the site. I mean, the odds of you stumbling into it at random are incalculable. So please, today I'm going to highlight, it's a design we call the Blue Note, because this is kind of a corny era that we're examining here, but there was some cool shit going on in the meantime, and it was at Blue Note, a record label with some crazy hot jazz, if you will. But this is our version of that, so you can go take home the names of the cast for your favorite old movie time machine podcast. Today, I will suggest that you put this on. Hey, you know what? Why don't you put this on a tote bag? So when you go to the market and you go get some ears of corn or that bottle of fresh juice that you've had your eye on, and you're like, I need to juice up over here. You can just tuck them right into your tote bag, your old movie time machine Blue Note tote bag. That's the one. You want to check it out and support independent podcasting. Help us out, guys, and we will thank you. Back to the program. Forrester talks about how he believes, again, for some reason, there's no evidence of this, Doctor, but he believes that the Martians can be defeated somehow.
Exactly.
We can't defeat the machines,
science,
but we can get to them, right? Mm-hmm. Sylvia tells us a story about getting lost as a child.
Yeah.
And she goes into this like reverie where she's like going on an emotional journey back into this moment where she gets lost.
She's still a lost child.
Well, isn't she though? I mean,
I just thought it was damn pointless.
Well,
was it?
It pays off later because at the end of this story, she goes to a church to be found.
Oh, of course. Yes. Now I understand.
Uncle. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Yes,
all right. Look at it. All right. And then she says, quote unquote, "Oh, I could blow my head off." She says that. And he's like, "Whoa!" I mean, like it's
all right,
dark.
Calm down, love. All right.
He's like, "Whoa, you just went suicidal on me."
Like,
okay,
no.
You were just cooking eggs a minute, love.
Yeah. We're having this delicious eggs and bacon meal.
They didn't actually eat.
Over there
they
too.
Didn't eat anything.
Was this another case of abandoned meals?
Abandoned meals. I mean, look at it.
You're right. Oh man,
I hate that.
I'm so sad. All that lovely bacon.
Yeah.
Stack of toast.
Horrific waste.
Fresh coffee off the.
I bet there was orange juice.
What a waste. So she goes real dark with despair for a minute. Luckily, though, we're bailed out of this scene. And unfortunately, for that beautiful breakfast that they were cooking, they're interrupted by the sound of a cylinder, which is what we start calling the meteor. A cylinder entering the atmosphere overhead. They're kind of trapped. They've been sealed into this farmhouse. And at this point, we get a little glimpse of a Martian. Sylvia peeps him through the door. There he is, this little guy with his very long suction cup fingers sort of like backing away. It's almost like he tripped over something and it's falling backwards. It's just a flash, but you get a little peek at him.
But, I mean, in terms of the actual alien itself, it's body form.
Speaking of, let's get a look at this thing. Ooh. It's just
it kind of looks
gristle.
it looks like a heart to me.
Yes.
Like with a big eye in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it also just looks a bit kind of like it's sort of the body is kind of almost evolved into uselessness a little bit because of maybe the reliance on technology.
Yeah, that could very well be. I mean, we do find out later through some analysis of the blood of this very creature that they're pretty weak. They're not terribly well suited to survival. Yeah. Yes. But this really looks like, I mean, if I could describe it to the listener, the body is made out of the same material as your tongue. I mean, it's just like
it does look
veiny, glossy muscle.
Yeah.
With this.
Not sure if there's any bones or anything, or if this is just a large muscle mass.
Ugh. Yeah. I mean, it's really upsetting. Which is great. I mean, 1953, and you're making me want to retch. Yeah. It's nicely done. This guy here, I assume is like SecDef, Secretary of Defense, perhaps.
Yeah,
and he
it's just like multi-country representatives here. There's some interesting headwear happening.
Yes, look at this. We've got could be French Legion or something like that. We have some kind of naval officer from the 1860s over here.
It seems so. Captain Nemo again.
And again, we have another one of these round hats. So the gang's all here. Secretary of Defense or whoever this guy is like, well, look, the White House has authorized us to use nukes. Yeah. So let's just get everybody ready for this. We don't want to do it, but nothing else is working. And the world is descending into migrating chaos, you know. So everybody's talking atom bomb. Right. Everybody's looking forward to, they really are looking forward to it. It's a day out. It's a day out. They go out to the hillside.
There's picnics.
Hold on. Can we just note when they actually get to the point of like the countdown?
Yes.
Can I tell you this? Their phrase is 4 minutes to bomb time.
Yes, bomb time.
Why didn't they say 4 minutes to detonation? But they called it bomb time.
Bomb time.
Every single bomb time. I'm like, this is detonation, people. Did we not have that word
announced
already?
With glee.
Attention, please. 4 minutes to bomb time.
Can we also talk about the random application of PPE here?
Yeah, well, tell us all about it. What do you see? I mean, this is everybody's rushing to observe the bomb. What do you see?
Well, some people have it, some people don't.
Yeah.
I would question the effectiveness of the RainMax.
Yes.
And the thing is, that it's not like the people in the PPE are on the front line or anything. Everybody gets mixed up. And I'd like to point out a little later that Sylvia has no PPE at all.
Yeah. No, well,
because obviously it's going to like interfere with the look.
Because women don't matter.
And she's a lady, and you will notice
she probably reapplied her lipstick for bomb time, right?
4 minutes to bomb time.
One always does.
4 minutes to bomb time.
I always do.
Let me fix my face.
I mean, we see this. This is an intrepid platoon of mid-century white men. I mean, they're all here.
Yes.
Not a lady to be found. Not a minority to be found.
There is a lady. She is right behind the first guy in the PPE.
This one right here?
She's an older lady.
Yes, that is
also no PPE.
No. She's busy taking minutes for bomb time. Here they are gathering on the hillside.
What is this? I could not believe it is bomb time.
4 minutes to bomb time.
Let's pack some sandwiches and get a good spot up on the hill there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, no one is recycling at this time, so they are going to leave their trash from their picnic lunches to see the bomb detonation.
But to be fair, it's going to be scorched radioactive earth for decades to come.
Yeah.
So
these are all
Chernobyl hasn't happened yet. They don't know.
Thousands of down
But
drapers.
haven't they dropped the atomic bomb?
Yeah, they should know from Hiroshima.
Well, so we find out that from Paul Frees, the radio man, that the bomb that they're going to be dropping on them is 10 times more powerful.
Oh, okay. And they're dropping this on American soil.
Yes, they are. We look from a distance. And
also another excellent bunker.
It's a nice shot, though.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
That sky.
Yeah.
That's a
and this is
painting.
a well constructed. I mean, we got sandbags and everything. Again, some people with helmets, some people not so much. Apparently, it's fine. And then they drop the fucking bomb on these things. And this is, so it kind of occurred to me, like looking at the mushroom cloud that results from this. We've kind of gone numb to this as a society, right? This image. But at the time, 1953, this is a very powerful, frightening image. Everybody lives in fear of. This thing could happen at any moment. And I mean, in reality, I think for existential purposes, we've had to sort of crowd this out of the front of our consciousness because we still live in a world where
this could happen.
That shit can happen anytime now. Especially
right now.
Especially right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Guys, do you think this works?
No. It's kind of no.
Not if they say it's like 10 times stronger than the atomic. I think everyone knows that this is a pretty small explosion.
Yeah. I mean, it does nothing.
Yeah.
And at this point, the general wisely makes the decision of like, well, we're fucked. Okay, so let's evacuate the cities and we're going to camp out here and hold the line. Scientists, you got to figure it out. You have to tell us what we're going to do here. We're out of ideas. We dropped the big one.
Dropped the bomb.
It did nothing. It did nothing. So apparently, he's also been working with Sylvia. Sylvia's still around with the Science Enclave. You got to have a library scientist on staff when you're trying to figure. I mean, every little bit helps, right?
Of course.
So downtown LA is just melting down to nothing at this point. I have to find Sylvia. So he starts running. We get a lot of these awesome empty street shots, which they must have had the juice. I mean, it was the movie industry in LA, but they had the juice to shut down these streets and garbage them up a little bit. Some powerful imagery as he runs after Sylvia. So we had seen Sylvia also being loaded onto a bus at one point. This is part of the evacuation from the mob and the aliens and all of this. He finds shards of the school bus and so just assumes that she has been blown away, perhaps. And that's, so that's disappointing for him. And then
that's a blow.
Yeah. And then the Martians show up and then they just go to town on Los Angeles. I mean, and as we've seen before, there's nothing stopping them. They just torch it and it's great. Beautiful model work again in the
really
film.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I just love everything about this. And so Forrester then...
Didn't he bump into some fellow scientists who told him that Sylvia, they got separated? So he knows she's around in the city, but got pulled out of the bus.
Okay. I knew there had to be a reason why.
Yeah. I think he was serendipitous. He bumped into some people.
Oh, okay.
It was sheltering.
So some soldiers pull up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they're like, hey, buddy, you got to get out of here. Yeah. They're here. We got to go. I got to find Sylvia. Well, she's somewhere. I don't know. Somewhere. So then it clicks in with him and he remembers the story about when she was lost as a little girl. He's like, she gave me the end of the movie in the middle of the movie.
Huh.
So he starts running around to the churches to try to find them. And we get some nice choir soundtrack here from these churches, very haunting in the face of the apocalypse when mixed with fire and explosion and lasers, of which we're hearing nonstop at this point. And everybody left is just waiting for the end. Just take me,
But their faith is still strong.
Yeah. There's some kind of allegory here. You figure it out. But yes, all part of God's plan, presumably. So they're into it. So he's got to go from church to church, doesn't find her right away. Meanwhile, LA is done.
It's burnt to a crisp.
Oh, man. It's over.
Wow. Yeah.
So he eventually finds her at a different church where they are also singing. And just as the Martians are about to destroy the church, all of a sudden they just start to crash and just die down. And it turns out, do not reveal the exciting conclusion to the War of the Worlds to friends who have not seen, but it was the germs.
Right.
The germs that took down the mighty Martian army. And we get we get a last shot of the Martian pause. It's sort of like gasps for life and, tell my story or whatever it's saying there. And Forrester gives the line of we were all praying for a miracle. And so you fill in the blank there of what happened, but all we know is that the smallest creatures that God put on his green great earth were the ones who took down the mighty Goliath, you might say, of Martian technology. And,
so is it still science or is it like...
Well, this is...
I think that depends
biology.
very much on your perspective.
Nature.
If you are a person of faith and not of science, then you will say God did it. But if it's sciencey, then you'll be like, yeah, well...
Nature.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, just nature is nature. And yes, bacteria is bacteria.
Right.
And so it ends. The War of the Worlds.
But they didn't really war.
Well,
no, it was kind of an extermination, really.
It was a one-sided
We were losing,
affair.
and then nature took over. So,
Well, this is ultimately we were powerless.
right.
Yeah.
Well, it just means that we're the superior species on our planet because we're already immune to those bacteria.
Exactly. Wasn't there like some final line around that, like, billions of deaths, we've earned our place on this planet or something like that?
Oh, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so...
Strong message.
Well, now that we've reached this point, we've walked through it, we've talked through it, how are we feeling about it? Shrishma, what are your thoughts on this?
On the movie?
Yeah, I mean, you gave us the scream. Interpret the scream for us. You into this?
So it wasn't a great movie on its own.
Okay.
But you know, I love me a good superhero movie.
Yeah.
And superhero movies inevitably involve some kind of alien invasion.
Yeah.
And my love for MCU, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the origins of that.
Yes.
Like conceptually, right?
Yeah.
So I think one of the questions is, do we still want to watch it today? I think we still do.
Yes.
It's just evolved. Our storytelling has evolved, and our our technology has evolved. So we are still seeing the same story.
Yeah. This is just Thanos.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And so I'm with it. I like that this is where it all began, and I appreciate it for that.
So we keep watching this.
We are.
Right.
We are watching it.
Well, this is it. I mean, this is Independence Day.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's that standing up to the ultimate.
Right.
Yeah.
Except we clearly thought of better endings.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's also Jurassic Park. It's also Jaws. It's
Exactly.
Right.
It has its place in cinema history for sure, and as you pointed out, Shrishma, storytelling.
Yeah.
But Carolyn, the key question: do we keep watching this?
I mean, I was a little bored by it.
It was definitely boring.
Do I ever want to watch it again? No. Do I remember it? Because I'm pretty sure you made me watch it at some point. No. Can I appreciate it from like its place in cinema history? Its tale of just how we are afraid of the other, whomever the other might be.
Yeah.
There's many others that we tell stories about. Because we're all xenophobic deep down inside. Society is anyway.
People don't like things that are different.
Because I have to pose the question, and I kind of like the George Lucas interpretation of Other Worlds because he's got Wookiees and Ewoks and cute fuzzy things.
Okay.
Why are most aliens something slimy or sea creature like or suction cuppy or something? How do we know if there's life on other planets? Because it's not, science hasn't disproved. I mean, beyond our universe.
Yes.
What if there's like a planet of dogs? I like dogs. Mm-hmm.
Well, and several sci-fi writers and thinkers have broached this topic. And, why must it be carbon-based life form? Why couldn't it be some kind of mist or something like this?
Right.
But I think to your point,
Lilo and Stitch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those were aliens.
Exactly. Yeah. But to your point about it has to be repulsive.
Right.
But it has to elicit that other
because
the horror.
Because the other is the scary thing.
Yeah.
So
So if it was beautiful and friendly and fetched balls and whatever, I don't know. It would.
They came to play fetch.
Exactly.
I'm merely saying that we as humans are clearly capable of loving, creatures that speak different languages or like communicate in different languages, are not the same species as us, but can have very strong bonds. So and I do appreciate that at the beginning of this film that both the uncle priest and the three bumbling goobers from town at least tried to be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
It didn't go well, but they
come to our square dance.
They tried. Right. So do we keep watching it? Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely got its place. Am I going to watch it anytime soon? No, but that's also because Dr. Forrester and Sylvia didn't really do
not a lot of chemistry popping there.
But they've also remade this movie twice since this one. I think with Tom Cruise.
Yes.
And recently last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Did they?
There's a 2021
Is there?
Well, they've done
War of the Worlds.
I know they've done several TV series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, so I get you. Your point is taken. I'm not saying we pop this on for a casual weekend watch necessarily. I mean, I will.
Right.
It's just me, that guy. But
says so much about you.
But look, I mean, it's there's something wholesome to it somehow. I mean, look, we watched Pillow Talk yesterday. a bunch of slappings and sexual assaults and everything. None of that here.
No, to be fair, this is quite respectful.
It's real heavy on the warring, of course, as a custom at the time. But Catherine, what do you think? Do we keep watching this?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with all of the comments so far that it has its place, and it was probably fantastic for its time. I still think the visuals are fantastic.
Yes.
And the sound effects, amazing. And I think it set a tone. And I think it's inspiration for, storytelling.
I will say what I appreciated about it is for its odd detours, like the square dance, for example, it really does, I think, kind of haul ass. This is an hour and 25 minutes, and you get the end of the world.
It moves quick.
It books. It's book. Like once it goes, I mean, look, it's a lot of stock footage of missiles being launched. I get it, but I mean, it's called the War of the Worlds. They're putting it on Front Street. What you're here for? So. Look, I'm in the bag for this one.
I do think there is something that has happened between this in 1953 and then the two movies we've just watched in 1959 in terms of like on-screen sexiness.
Yes.
So I'm sure we will discover this as we watch more films.
I can't wait to find out.
When is this transition in the 50s to like, the magnetism of Cary Grant lighting Miss Kendall's cigarette on the train, and that,
how do we get there?
Thing.
Yeah.
How do we get from the War of the Worlds to that?
Yeah, because this is so buttoned up.
Yes.
Right.
We're just gonna have to keep digging, you guys. Guys, we made it through another movie, but I'll tell you what, it's still premiere week. We've got Thursday, right?
What?
We're watching another one tomorrow and talking about it. We're going to be talking about, okay, guys, so far we've covered action thriller, North by Northwest, romantic comedy.
What's that one?
With.
Sorry, yes. Yes. Yeah. And yes.
Yeah.
Shrishma, you're tough.
And yes.
You are tough. Number 2, romantic comedy.
Yes.
Or a sex comedy. Pillow talk. Today, a little bit of sci-fi.
Right.
Tomorrow, though, let's bring it back down real quick, but in a very dramatic fashion. We're going with a drama tomorrow, okay? Dramatic romance. It is 1956's. This is right between 53 and 59, you guys. This might unlock the secret to sexiness in the U.S.
Right.
Written on the Wind, directed by Douglas Sirk. The summary is as follows. Alcoholic playboy Kyle Hadley marries the woman secretly loved by his poor but hardworking best friend, who in turn is pursued by Kyle's nymphomaniac sister.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Starring Rock Hudson. The Rock is back.
Oh, boy.
Lauren Bacall.
Oh, hello.
I love
Mrs. Bogart to you. Yeah. And Robert Stack.
You had me at Rock Hudson.
Well, you're gonna get some more.
This is some eye candy going to be happening.
It's.
Lauren Bacall is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's excellent.
Stunning.
And if you want to get in touch with us, tell us what you thought about The War of the Worlds. We really wish you would. We want to know what you think. Do we keep watching this thing? You want to now email us at partyline@oldmovietimemachine.com. We've made the decision. We're sticking with it. Thank you so much for joining. Katherine Sherlock, Shrishma Naik.
Why, good night.
Yes, good night. It's downtown.
Are you bedding down?
Good evening.
I'm going to go up for the evening.
Up the apples and pears.
Carolyn Naoroz.
Turn in for the night.
Whatever will you turn into? Grandmama.
I guess we'll see.
And so concludes today's episode of Old Movie Time Machine. And if you are enjoying this lengthy conversation about the War of the Worlds, understand that the conversation that we had was actually more than twice as long as what you just heard. So if you would like to experience that, please join us at the Boom Room. It's our Patreon page. It's the place where you can go, and for $2 a month, you can get the uncut version of every episode we put out on the free feed. It tends to be pretty long, you guys. So if you like the talk that you're hearing, you can go get more of it. It's available to you. over on the Patreon. So please do that. It's $2 a month, not a big deal. So tomorrow, as previously mentioned, we're talking about Written on the Wind from 1956. This is available to you only in stores, I'm afraid, unless you want to get, look, you can get creative out there to find Written on the Wind. I mean, if I can find it, you can find it. But understand that right now it is not currently available on any streaming platform. Kind of a mess up on my part. Sorry about that. But you can get a spectacularly restored Blu-ray version of it. Or if you are kicking it old school and do not want to see things in high definition with complete pristine clarity and remastered color timing and all this, you can get the standard def version. You can get it on DVD. And if DVD is too good looking for you, please get yourself a VHS copy of this. It's available at the low price, used unfortunately, but $2.44 as of this recording. So check it out, Written on the Wind. We will see you here tomorrow as Premiere Week rolls on. And until next time, this has been Old Movie Time Machine.